Hi, I'm Hailey Spring, CEO of Spring Photography. Photography's always been a love of mine, so that was like my inspiration. I like the freedom of being able to work for myself as well, manage my own timetable, but I love the fact that you can be creative and meet so many different crazy people. So that all mixed together was my inspiration to actually run my business. I knew that in the industry there was things that could be done better. I've got a lot of influences for different reasons. I was mentored by a man, Jonathan Bailey. He was one of my inspirations. He showed me that, you know, running your own business professionally, you can still be fun. You can still love life. You can still put your stamp on it as your character, and taught me the business of it. My parents, they've always been hard workers. My dad's always been self-employed in something. And people, to be honest, I just like people. So when you know you can do something and you're giving somebody that little bit of joy, it's inspiring in itself.
My guest is Hailey Spring, the sensational photographer and CEO of Spring Photography. Thank you so much for coming here. It's so amazing to have you. And what's so amazing is that we've known each other for a long time. We were in theatre from teenagehood, and we've obviously taken two diverted, positions where I'm now in presenting and media content, and you're also into media content but more on the photography side. So what was the transition and breakthrough from being a person on stage to now being a photographer?
I love the whole creative industry across the board. I think in terms of like growing up, when you start working and things, I didn't really want that attention.
Right.
I didn't want to be in the front of the attention. I like to be in charge of how it all happens. So I would say that was like the little transition where you got a little bit more control of the creativity when you're behind the camera.
So what is it like now, not being the person on stage, being told what to do and how to deliver, but now you're the person who's given directions?
It comes naturally to me. All you have to do is kind of make whoever you're dealing with comfortable, and most of the time you can even talk about things that you just get that spark.
Right.
And it just comes out. It comes naturally. I like being able to get my juices flowing and say, let's do this, let's do that, throw out ideas. It's good to have that freedom.
Fab. And I know that you stemmed from going into studying photography, and then there was this bleak moment where you was just like, you know what, no, scrap that, I'm gonna become a freelancer and learn that way. So why did you decide to take that journey?
Honestly, it was a collection of things. I went to college to do it. I loved college. At college, I was like, I'm definitely in the right, this is what I want to do for life. And then I went to uni, and I've always been working 2 jobs. I was living on my own anyway. So uni, with the pressure that they put on it, I didn't feel like at the end of the year I'd learnt much more than what I had done in college. I felt I learnt more from the freelance work I was doing outside of my course, from the beginning. So I passed. I gave in my final late because I did a wedding the day before.
Right.
And I remember the tutors came down on me quite hard, and I thought, hold on, I've still got one of the top marks in the class.
Right.
And that they deducted me 40 points because of my attendance. And I thought, do I need this piece of paper that much to do what I want to do? So I gave myself the holidays. I said if I find work experience in the holidays, then I'm not coming back. And 2 weeks later, I started working as an assistant in urban photography in Liverpool Street. I was there for 2.5 years and I learned more there than in all my education.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And I'm guessing, where was the point where you was just like, okay, I no longer want to be a freelancer, but now I actually want to own my own business?
I knew, like, when I was studying at college, I always said I'm going to have my own studio by the time I'm 25. But I wasn't actively working towards it, to be honest. I was freelancing alongside every job that I've ever done.
Right.
And the thing that I would say actually made me take the step was having my daughters.
Right.
I was cabin crew, and it was a great job. I loved it. But when I went back and my girls were born, they were 5 months old. It made no sense anymore. When I knew that I had a skill that I loved, and I thought, this is the time to do it. This is the time that I know I have that commitment in me. There was other things that I wanted to do before I set up my business. I knew that obviously it would become my life. And cabin crew was really the last job I wanted to do before that. So yeah, I left, took my children out of nursery and set up. It was just the thing that it felt like it was meant to be at that time.
That drive was there, that passion was there, and you just took off.
Yeah, I didn't see any other option. It was my time.
So give us a scope in regards to the life as a CEO of Hailey Photography. Like, what is it behind the scenes? Because everyone says, you know, I want to build a business, you know, I want to execute and live a life of passion and purpose and fulfill my dreams. But they don't actually see that there's so much work behind that. So give us a scope of what the life is behind.
Yeah, it's a bit mad because now I'm living what everyone would think is a life of leisure. Like, I open the studio at 10, I close at 3, I go pick up my children, get into their clubs, you know. But then as soon as they go back to bed, work starts again. Whether it's editing, whether it's you know, planning where we're gonna spend money on marketing, how we're gonna market certain things, what sections of the business we're gonna push. There's so many different things that need to be done, and most of the time I do that in the evening. In the daytime when I'm at the studio, it's just dedicated to clients and what needs to be done during, you know, studio hours or whether I'm on location. And it's also managing the team, knowing what everyone's got their products set up for the week, the month, depending on what projects we're working on or what clients need us. But that's it really. I get up, I take my children to school. Like, I'm a normal mum like that. I try to make it to the gym, it's good endorphins. If not, I dance to house music in my car and away. Good. It's good. Music is good. Right. You could be in the worst mood, you put on a good you put on a good tune, you're dancing, you're bouncing into work.
Let that stress go away.
Yeah, you forget it all. You don't even know what you're stressed about most of the time. And then yeah, it's an all-rounder when you run your own business. You are everything in the beginning, and then you start to, you know, hand out. So I'm the photographer. There's been points I was the cleaner, the accountant, the doing the marketing, the designing, the graphic design, everything in the beginning it was done by me. Right. I designed my logo, I designed all the leaflets, I've done everything, and but now we're at a stage where I can, you know, I've got people that can do that, even though I'm still overseeing. Yeah, because it becomes your baby. It's a bit hard to let go sometimes. But yeah, it's just doing a bit of everything.
So how did you strategize and gain the clients that you have now? Because now you're constantly busy and you've got the work flowing through. So, you know, was it instant because you automatically, from when you was a freelancer, you built up connections and therefore you just poured that through into your business? How does that work? Because a lot of people, they're like, okay, great. So for example, I want to be a photographer, but how do I now get the work? How do I get consistent clients?
You have to go out and get it. I was lucky. I've got clients from being a freelancer, and it was great. But that's not enough to run a full-time business, you know. So I had to go out and get it. I had to make sure that people knew that we were here. I've done, you know, we do cold calling. I've cold called nurseries. You know, we do cold call nurseries. We make sure that people don't forget who we are. We do things in the town centre. I had to learn about social media, like how to actually market a business on social media, and keeping up with it. We're still, you know, we're still learning with that.
Right.
You just have to go out and get it, and you try one thing. You know what works for your business if you know your industry. If you know your industry, you know your clients, you know what works, you know how they're gonna, you know, come to you and then keep coming back.
Right.
So you just have to go and get it and make sure that they don't forget about you.
Okay.
There's so many different ways if you think, and if you can't find any ways, then you need to find somewhere to go and learn it.
Right.
It's you know, what you don't know,
You gotta find.
yeah, you go and find.
Okay. So could you give us any more tips? So you said about cold calling, for an example, creating events. You said obviously going from your old connections from being a freelancer. Is there anything else? Obviously social media, we know that as well, but is there anything else?
Honestly, it's talking to people.
Right.
I think word of mouth is one of the biggest things that gets us clients in. I still feel really like a warm little sensation in my heart when people call when they say, "Oh, so and so recommended you. They came here last week," and I'm like, yes. Like they were happy. Like, oh, like you know, I get a little fuzzy feeling because I'm like, you know what, we're doing well, and they don't even tell you. They don't even want anything.
Yeah.
But then we go and we'll drop them a keyring, or we'll give them, you know, something because thank you, because we're genuinely happy that you told us that. When people go and review for us, word of mouth, and then even as myself, even when I'm being sociable, you know, when I'm socialising, when I'm introducing new people, everyone knows that I'm a photographer. Everyone knows, yeah, my studio's just in Croydon. I'm here when you're ready.
Nice.
You might not see them for a year, but they know we're there.
Right, right.
You know, if you're a people person, you care about people, you'll always, you know, you'll be able to build your brand and keep your clients happy. You can't just do it for the money, because the money doesn't come straight away.
Right. Well, that's where passion comes in, right?
Yeah.
So in regards to your niche now, like who and what do you work with?
What do you mean?
So your niche market, is it, I know that you do weddings, I know that you do events, but is there anything in particular that you're like, yeah, this is who I am, this is what I do, or is it just I do landscape, I do everything? Who are you?
Yeah. Honestly, it's like, I know we've spoken before about, because like photographers, they specialise in like one thing. I always say, like, I'm a specialist in working with people.
Right.
I've done photography for so many years, and I did experience so many different aspects of it, and I wasn't sure which one to focus on. I felt like I had to focus on one. And we did start with families, because we have, you know, I've got contracts with nurseries before I really set up, and that was the best way to go.
Right.
But as soon as we started that, we you know, they want you to come and do their birthday parties, their christenings, the weddings. You become their family photographer, and that's what I wanted to build.
Brilliant.
So anything in terms of people, they just understand that we're, as a team, we're good at getting the best out of people, from children to the elderly, and being inconspicuous. Even with our events, most of our clients would say the guests don't know whether you're a guest or not. Wow. You know, because you go around, you talk to people, you're a fly on the wall, and you're just capturing those, you know, those special moments. So it's just like, I would say that that's my niche, understanding people and being able to get the best out of them.
So in regards to now sustaining a high profitable business, how do you manage knowing exactly how much you should charge, how much you should pay your team, if you even pay yourself?
You have to find your feet. You have to find your feet. If you're adjusting it, depending on, to be honest, I do it on time. How much time we have. If we're in higher demand, for a certain amount of time, I know we need to raise our prices, because there's so many different, you know, there's so many different aspects. You have to know your costs in general, and then you work up from there.
Right.
once you know what your costs are, you know how much you need to make. So when you employ people, you know how much that person needs to make. You know that, and that's how I've kind of done it. But then there have been times where we've been too busy for the team, but we're not in a place where we can hire. Because hiring in itself is expensive in terms of time. We're photographers in the majority, so it's more your time that you're getting paid for because the skill is you. So it's changing that rate really depending on the demand. But it's not easy. It's not easy. Again, I'm always learning. I have to put myself on courses. I didn't do business. I know business, and you know, it's like the common sense, but it's not like there's a lot of like HMRC are coming for you. You know that kind of. You need to know. But yeah, it's just continuing to learn and understanding what you have to make to break even. You know, when you know what you have to make to break even, you know what your target is every day. So then you're setting targets, setting goals, and working as a team. It's, you know, you get there.
And so now, do you outsource in regards to the areas that you feel like is not your strongest point, or do you just try and master them anyway?
Yeah, definitely. They need to be outsourced because there are certain things that I literally have a block on. I don't. It takes me more time to understand. It could be so simple, but it's just not my forte. So you waste more time trying to do it yourself. And then there are other things that, you know, I could just train my staff to do, and at least it's all in-house and everybody's, you know, working together. So yeah,
And in terms of your team, how did you outsource them, and how big is your team?
my team varies. Depending on the season. In the summer period that we're coming into now, we always end up with a sales team between 7 to 10. We've got 6 other photographers because in the summer we do double book where we have the nurseries, the weddings, the events. You can't have everybody travelling all over, like I'm only one person myself as well. So depending on what they prefer to do, what I know that they're good at, in understanding the style, because they still have to do it under the style of the company. I will get them to do the weddings, but they're more freelance. And then in the studio we've got 3 members of staff. Again, they're the ones that will manage the portraits in the studio. They're all trained in the studio, but if we have, say, a portfolio that wants to go out on location, or home bookings, because we bring the portable studio home, they're also in charge of that. So they're like the mini, like me.
Your tribe.
You could do what I could do.
And what is your style? Because you brought that up about, you know, as long as it's in the style of the company. What is the style of the company?
We're like the fun, bit funky, natural studio. We don't like posing. Even in the studio, we might tell the children to sit down and smile, but the best photographs and the majority that we'll give is the ones where they're literally just playing. You're capturing that essence of them as a character instead of that. It's horrible. So it's more of just a candid, like our strapline is making all your memories beautiful. So it's more of a memory of a moment than let's take a photo to put on the wall.
Fair enough. And when it comes to your clients now, you know, have you dealt with a lot of challenges with the people that you bring or the people that you work with?
To be honest, we're quite lucky. We don't have, everybody's lovely, but then I am cabin crew trained, customer service. It's very difficult for anyone to blow their top with me because when you're cabin crew trained, it's a whole nother level of customer service. And we genuinely care. Whatever their problem is, even if they're confused about what they purchased in the first place, because we do vouchers and stuff from different organisations. Sometimes they haven't read the fine print properly, but I think a lot of people, when anything is wrong, they just want to know that you can put yourself in their position and understand. So we've been quite lucky. We get a lot of characters in and out of the studio. But in terms of clients, it's probably the easiest part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And when it's got to do with how you're able to cope with personal life and also business, do you have a strategy? Do you just go with the flow?
Yeah. If work needs to be done, work comes first, because that's what pays my bills.
Right.
In the beginning, people found it a bit difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not available on Saturdays. Don't ask me to come.
Mm-hmm.
No point. Now I've got a little bit more leverage. As the company's getting a bit bigger, I've got a bit more freedom, so I can book things and know that someone's going to be here. But yeah, it's work always comes first.
Mm.
The only people that come before that is my children.
Right.
Yeah. Apart from that, it hasn't really affected too much of my social life, to be honest. You just work around it.
Okay.
But yeah, it's that balance. The people who care about you, they understand,
Mm-hmm.
and they've got respect for what you do.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have to go to an event, you're only there an hour, you've got to leave because you've got to plan out things for the next day, then at least you came.
Grand. So where do you see your company in 5 years' time?
And we're going corporate. We're going to have at least 3 branches. To be honest, in 5 years we should have at least 5.
Yeah.
You have to get another one.
Dream big.
Yeah, you might as well sprinkle a bit of H-string
Right.
everywhere. But yeah, there's specific areas that from where the majority of our clients come from. So we'll do one a bit deeper into Surrey.
Mm-hmm.
They have to travel into London now, according to London, and more into Southwest. And we're starting our training programs this year. So
Awesome.
I expect us to have our training academy
Mm-hmm.
set up, individually to the studios.
Great.
At least once by then. And yeah, we're just going to keep growing and making people's memories beautiful.
Nice, your tagline. No, that's awesome. So in regards to just last but not least, your training academy, is this for everyone?
Yes.
For young people? Who do you aim at?
Yeah, for everyone, from
Okay.
young to old. I should say elderly, that's rude.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people now, photography is one of those things that so many people are interested in doing.
Yeah.
And they buy that, you can get a decent digital camera,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of people don't know how to use it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to be able to teach people who are amateurs just looking for a hobby, but at the same, our training programs are teaching people to how to make money out of their work as well.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they want to sell their work privately, whether they want to, emulate what we do, specialise in certain things. There's like the business of photography that I think is missing from most conventional courses. So that's like one of the things we'll be doing.
Fab. Literally, it's been awesome to have you here on Living Inspiration, and literally you sharing with us everything upon your experience, your breakthroughs. And one thing I have to say is that, since when we knew each other, teenagers, and in the world of theatre, it's like you technically grasped everything that you needed and provided those tools that you were given and implemented it into your adult life so that you're able to spring into action. So there you go, your name. And it's just like, it's nice to see that there is a linear structure and you haven't thrown it away in terms of being creative because of what life has thrown at you.
Yeah.
So, you're very ambitious and you've taken and you've just run with it. So congratulations on that. Fantastic. So if you'd like to connect with Hailey Spring, click on the links below. Now that she shared her blueprint of success, what key tips will you be implementing to reach yours? Voice your opinions across our social media site, subscribe and head on over to liveinginspirationcc.com where you can watch our latest videos, gain more insight on how you can build a life of success, and join our masterclass where you can connect and also get your questions answered by all our featured guests. Thank you for watching Living Inspiration. Click here to subscribe, watch our latest videos, and follow our social media.